What's up guys, Wolf here. Welcome to another Division 2 video. In today's video, I'm going to showcase my two best PvP builds. In my opinion, these are the current meta builds in the Darkzone and Conflict. I'm going to showcase the first build, which will be a Conflict setup, and then the second one will be a Darkzone setup. Now, you can use each of these builds in the Conflict or in the Darkzone, but it's just my recommendation. Also, there are many different ways that you can tweak these builds to suit your own playstyle, and there are many different builds that could be as effective, or if not maybe more effective, depending on how you're playing and what situation you're in. So just keep that in mind. So I'm going to showcase this first setup, which is an unbelievably strong hybrid build. I recommend this build because it's got everything: high skill damage, high armor, and high damage. We can absolutely mince players with our capacitor. The capacitor is one of the best guns in the game right now, and I absolutely recommend using it with this setup. So with this setup, I'm going to be making use of the Umbra 4-piece. Now I have got the Ninja Bike backpack, therefore I can use 3 pieces of Umbra, including the chest piece. Then I've got Walker Harris mask and a Picaro's holster. Now the reason why this is so powerful is because I can hit insanely hard with all of the multiplicative damage from the capacitor, and also the RPM and crit damage from the gear set Umbra. And also I have got 5 skill tiers and 1.5 million armor. So when I stack up all the damage for my Umbra, and then I fire it on the enemy agent in the Darkzone or in Conflict, doesn't really matter, with my capacitor, I'll be doing lots of damage, but I'll also be stacking up the extra skill damage, so that when I throw my hive, which I do recommend using a hive because it does loads of AoE damage, initial skill damage, and status effect, especially in Conflict to the enemy team, I can kill the whole team with one hive. It's just unbelievably powerful. And in the Darkzone, it works just as well. Just keep in mind there's no expertise or shade tech watch levels in Conflict. So this setup, how would I recommend playing with it? I recommend getting it stacked up first and foremost. Make sure you have it stacked up. So you'll be in cover, getting the damage stacked. You go out of cover, you make use of the damage, then you stack the defensive stacks. Then when you go into cover, you get armor regen. So we've also got survivability in the form of getting our armor back when we're in cover, which is just amazing. Umbra is top tier right now. So dish out huge amounts of damage when you're out of cover, heal, go back in cover, then throw your skills out. It depends what you want to use. I use the skill tier. I use the Stinger Hive. You can use explosive sticky, fire sticky bomb, whatever. It doesn't matter. I would just recommend using a skill damage to make use of the capacitor. Any kind of skill that does damage. The Defender Drone is a must skill though. You can use whatever skill you want bar the Defender Drone. Make sure at least in one of your slots you have a Defender Drone. That mitigates over 20% damage in PvP. It makes you a lot tankier. Then if you do want to use the explosive sticky, use a Grupo, because instead of the Walker and Harris's damage and damaged armor, you can go for the crit damage and explosive damage. It scales better with the sticky bomb. But in general, I recommend using the Walker and Harris piece for that damage to armor and the weapon damage. It just makes sense. So let's take a look at the build in full detail. I wanted to showcase the gameplay while I'm busy playing, just try and save time. So the Umbra 4-piece, quite simple. The Ninja Bike allows us to get the 4-piece bonus from the Umbra, and then the 2-piece bonus from these 2 brand set pieces. So the Umbra chest is a must. If you guys don't know how Umbra works by now, which I'm sure you do, we get reload speed, crit chance, we get stacks. So when we're in cover, we get stacks. When we're out of cover, we make use of those stacks in the form of RPM and crit damage. Then while you're out of cover and shooting, you'll be getting stacks so that when you for the defensive part, then when you go into cover, it consumes them to give you armor back, which is quite significant. And I recommend using the chest piece. So I've gone for chest, gloves, and knee pads. You can go for chest and mask if you want it, and then the other 2, whatever other piece you want to go for. It's just because we need the bag, we need the chest, and we need the holster, because Picaro's holster is a must. That gives us weapon damage, and an extra skill tier and skill haste is also quite useful. So this is going to be perfect for doing damage with our skills, or giving more utility to our skills, and also doing more weapon damage. Then the Ninja Bike, like I mentioned before, this allows us to unlock them. This bag is just really, really good right now in PvP. Then the Walker and Harris, it's very, very powerful. I recommend going for this. You do not have to use this piece. You can tweak it to however you want. Use Contractor's Gloves. You can go for Healer Guard for more health and armor. You can go for Golem for status effect and armor regen. That could be a good piece. There's many different options. You guys need to decide what you want to go for. Also, you can go for Contractor's Gloves And then you can also go for Picaros, then use the LMG, the Iron Lung, and then go all red, as many reds as you can. That does a lot of damage if you want to go for full DPS, or you can even go for all reds here, which I would recommend. But the thing is I never fail to do very well in a conflict match using this build. In the DZ, you can use this absolutely no problem. But the reason why I recommend it for conflict is because I have a better setup that suits DZ more, in my opinion. But this is versatile. You can take this into any PvP situation. So let's take a look at the pieces in a bit more detail. So 1.5 million armor, that's up to you. Stinger Hive, Defender Drone. I've got Technician Specialization for the extra skill tier. Hold the card 45 to get an extra skill tier, so taking it from 5 to 6. As you guys can see, if I do this, I have only got 5 skill tiers. It takes me to 6. It's up to you how you want to balance it. Capacitor, damage to outside of cover. Very powerful. We get more damage for the yellows as well. So you do get a bit of bonus when you actually spec into yellows, but reds would still end up being more damage. It depends what you want to do and how you want to play. If you want to go for all yellows, you can do that. Not a problem. You will still hit hard. But we get skill damage, which is great. Works well with the Hive. Then I've gone for Walker Harris one piece simply because it's just great. Weapon damage, damage to armor. It scales with pretty much everything. It's a nice piece, but by all means use a different one, like the one I mentioned earlier, or any kind of variation. Umbra 3-piece, then the Picaros holster. Quite simple. Crit chance, crit damage with a crit damage mod on the mask. Chest piece, I've got crit chance and a crit damage mod. Holster is the crit chance. The gloves, I have got crit damage and also crit chance on the knee pads. Then critical hit damage modifications all round. It's up to you. Don't go over 60%. So I've got 56%, 133 crit damage. This setup is unbelievably strong. Make sure to give it a try. If you guys have given it a try, are you going to? Do you enjoy it? Make sure to let me know in the comments down below. Let's go over the second setup. So this setup is going to be my best PvP build for the Darkzone. So like I mentioned earlier, you can switch these up and use them in both Darkzone and Conflict. It doesn't matter. But with this setup, and I will give some options for variations, this setup is my go-to when I'm playing solo, when I'm in a team. I can rely on this build. It's unbelievably strong. In Conflict, I would probably just swap the chest piece out for a Cheska chest with Obliterate. That's what I would do if you wanted to take this into Conflict, because we only get 2 armor kits, but you can use perfectly efficient in Conflict. It could still work. But if your RNG is bad, you won't get many kits. Then you'll just end up getting beamed because everyone likes to use damage skills, or you need some sort of hazard as well in Conflict. So that's something that I could post later down the line. I have got a very powerful hazard pulse red setup. Let me know in the comments down below if you want to see that. So with the setup, I've got the Eagle Bearer. The great thing about this build is you can use whatever weapon you want. In the gameplay, you'll see I swap to the Ouroboros. I just increase my crit damage, lower my crit chance, and it works perfect. If that's for more burst damage from close range. You can use the Shield Splinter AR. That's what I would recommend. Or the FAMAS. It doesn't matter. Those guns absolutely rip and shred. Or any SMG you want. The Eagle Bearer is perfect for from close to long ranges. And I can get the EB buff to finish entire teams in the Darkzone. It is difficult right now because there's so many cheaters on PC. But I don't really play that much anymore because of that. And expertise has kind of destroyed PvP for me. Because players are you just die instantly. But it's up to you if you want to use this in Conflict or DZ, or you want to give this a go. So it's up to you what weapon you use. 1.9 million armor, full blues, striker, including the backpack, efficient. I can proc efficient anytime I want. You have the powerful firewall specialization armor kit, 75% chance not to take it away. Catharsis mask, heals me, cleanses status effects, and gives me more damage. Crazy strong build, very, very effective. Loads of damage, loads of survivability. It is an absolute beast. So let's take a look at it in a bit more detail. So all blues I do recommend. It just scales better and there's so much damage in the Darkzone because remember, Shade Tech, Watch Levels, and expertise is applied there. So whatever gun you want to go for, you decide. It's on you. If you want to go SMG, you're going to probably have to have less crit chance rolls than I have put here. Sledgehammer, you guys know this shotgun also for getting the stacks up a bit quicker. Damage 2 targets out of cover. The lefty shotgun, very good. Orbit pistol for more crit damage. Defender drone, decoy, use whatever skills you want. Firewall spec, quite important. Then the 4-piece striker. The backpack is just too good. It's very efficient. But if you wanted to, you can take away the mask and use Memento. So use the chest I'm using or use Memento in its place if you want to be getting stacks. It may help you killing enemies and getting more bonus armor to survive a bit longer. But the striker's bag is too effective for getting damage. I recommend it. So the 4-piece, quite simple. I think every single piece I've got of Striker, yes, is actually crit chance because I'm using an assault rifle. Crit chance, crit damage on the chest piece with a crit damage modification. Perfectly efficient, everyday carrier. Farm this, it's very powerful right now in the Darkzone. And the synergy between this and the Catharsis Mask, which has also got a crit damage mod, is really good because when we take damage, we fill up a meter. We get more weapon damage the higher that goes. And when it depletes, or when it gets to the end of its, when it's maxed out, you get a heal, and it also removes status effects, which is powerful because we can take a lot of damage because we're going to be constantly proccing armor kits. And you can use the Oxidizer Chem Launcher to shoot to the ground, and then that allow you to proc a kit instantly, or any other skill that does damage, or even grenade yourself with fire. It doesn't matter. But that is a very effective way of playing. And there are many different ways of running this. You can use Obliterate chest pieces with Cheska. That is on you, but this I recommend if you guys are struggling in the Darkzone. This is my favorite setup for the DZ, and it's one of the strongest. You really do come out on top most of the time. It's a very powerful setup, and it's easy to use. All you got to do is basically try to get your stacks up, and there's NPCs all over the Darkzone. That's why it's a bit stronger in the DZ. NPCs, get them stacked up on decoys from enemy agents, and then you will out DPS someone. Even an Umbra build, you will out DPS it because Strike is still the best when you are fully stacked up. So this is unbelievably strong, and I absolutely recommend it. What you could even do is, if you're a PC player, you can go for the big horn and then go for headshot damage everywhere. That could be an option. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Here are these stats. Crit damage is a bit low, but trust me, you will still hit unbelievably hard when you are fully stacked up. We've got some armor regen from the chest piece as well, from the Belston 1 piece, which is nice. Are you going to try this build? Have you tried it? Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys very soon in the next one. Peace out.